yesterday we stopped. We were speaking around the rules to follow, right? When using Excel, and I could only cover one because of time, right? So I will just continue from where I stopped, and we pick up from there on referencing. Today we're going to focus on fixing referencing and R1, R1 C1 and A1. But yesterday we did R1 C1 referencing, so I will not cover that, right? So I'm going to just stick straight to finish off the rules of practicing a formula and talk about the various um, sorry, I think I have to. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to mute everybody. That's yeah. So yeah. Let's continue. So the first thing we mentioned yesterday was that in Excel you don't write a constant inside. The best practice is that you don't write constant inside the body of the Excel or the body of a formula, right? You always reference it. That's the first thing we mentioned, right? Never write. Second thing, right? And this second thing might be a bit hard, but the more and more we use Excel, right, the better it will be. The second thing is that you should make sure that a formula is consistent from a range of cells. So, for example, if let me use a blank sheet, right? For example, let's say we have an example here. Let's say we have these items, right? They have January value, they have February value, and we are calculating the change. So change basically is new divided by old minus one. That's just a formula, right? So we are calculating this, right? But we notice that when we get to Guinness, there's no price for Guinness, right? So if you do new over old minus one, it will give you error because this is not the new is not a value, it's not a number, right? So Excel is not seen as a number. Remember what I told you, Excel formats numbers to the left, text to the right, Boolean to the middle, right? So Excel is saying, new is not a number, so I can't calculate it, right? What people usually do here is that they'll just write NA or they'll write zero or something, right? They'll just put something else. There's the rule in Excel is that any formula you have within a range of cells, I should be able to copy it and paste it across, right? And it should still be okay, right? I should copy it and paste it across, and it should still be okay, right? If copying a formula above or beneath, right, or within a range of cells, and I call it from beginning to end, and it's different, right, or it does not flow through, there's an issue, right? So your formulas must be able to be consistent over a range of cells, and there are various things that you can do to ensure that they are consistent. And most times, the reason why they're not consistent is because we've actually not really mastered certain principles in Excel or certain formulas in Excel that we cannot dance our way around it. Like for example, anybody that's a pro or not a pro, just an advanced beginner will know that a way to circumnavigate this is to use if error. But sorry, I don't want to jump above myself for anybody that is just new to Excel. But basically, I'm just here to talk about the principles. The principle is when writing a formula, the formula must be consistent across board, right? Whether you're a beginner, at intermediate level, or a pro level, the formula should be consistent across board. And there are ways to get around it. But today is not the time for that, right? When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Our focus today is around referencing, right? Our focus today is around referencing. And by the time I will try and wrap up very fast so that we'll have time to do this by ourselves, right? So please, if you've not downloaded it, I said go to whenyoucanoogle.com/library. You will see a folder called 31 days, and you see the file. The file for day 2 is there. Just download it. That's what we're going to work with, right? But before that, let's talk about referencing. Yesterday, I made mention that we have 2 styles of referencing, right? Who can tell me the 2 styles of referencing that I mentioned yesterday? If you were here yesterday, I'm aware that not everybody that were here yesterday are here today. And vice versa. The 2 styles is
A1.
Yeah, perfect. A1, yeah.
A1, R1, C1 referencing.
Perfect. So the 2 styles of referencing is A1 and R1, C1 referencing, right? But we are only going to be focusing on A1, right? not R1C1. I may touch R1C1 towards the end when I'm talking about some advanced techniques, but for now, I'm focusing on A1. Now, this is the styles of referencing. But under A1 referencing or A1 and C1, we have three major or four major, don't worry, I've lost count. We have some major types of referencing. The first one we call is absolute, right? Absolute. Then we have relative. And we have secular. I mean, this will look academic, but to be honest, this is the foundation. I mean, as you go ahead in the days, you realize how important knowing how to reference is, right? And by the time we get into more complex things, you will know how important it is, right? So, types of referencing: absolute, relative, secular. Secular reference is an error. You should not have secular reference, and I will talk about it when we're talking about errors, right? Which is not today. But absolute and relative referencing. I mentioned referencing basically is calling out a cell, right? I'm referencing this material, right? So you are calling out, or you are acknowledging a particular cell, right? So if I have for 50, right, in cell N5, if I want to reference an N5, all I have to do is equals to N5. What I've done is that I've referenced N5, right? That's not what referencing is. But we have two types. We have absolute and we have relative, right? And under relative, we have two types of referencing, but let's do it one by one. Under absolute reference, right? Let's do a small back check. Please, on the chart, is roll Excel, is roll numbered or roll lettered? I asked this yesterday, I asked it again. In Excel, based on what we learned yesterday, are rows numbered or are rows lettered? Rows numbered or lettered? Numbers or lettered? Someone said numbered. Perfect, right? So we know this is number, right? Now, this is very important for referencing. Follow me carefully. Now, when I ask you to absolutely reference cell N5, absolutely reference cell L5, what I'm telling you to do is that I want you to reference it in such a way that no matter how much no matter where you move, both the row and the column will give me N5. Let me explain. So we have, let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And we have, 1, 2, and put it 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And we have, let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And I want to write a formula adding. So let's say this is your score in maths and score in English. Just follow me. I'm trying to explain something. Let me do something. Sorry. I'm just trying to get random data. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, imagine this somebody score in maths, this somebody score in English. That's perfect, right? And I say I want you to add it together, right? So this is maths plus English, right? What you have done here is you just done a simple sum, right? But if I say I want you to reference it in such a way that mathematics score does not move, right? That means mathematics score, I want math score to remain in math score. I don't want math score to move, right? Math score should be math score. When I say absolutely reference, it means that I don't want the row to change or the column to change. If I say absolutely reference something, I want you to reference it in a way that no matter how much I drag it left, right, or center, the row and the column will remain the same, right? Are we still together, or have I lost anybody?
Yeah, we are with you.
Okay, one person with me. Is anybody else with me as well? Is anybody else with me? You can chase in the chat room also.
Yeah, we're with you.
Okay, perfect. Now, we want to absolutely reference cell N5, right? So if I do equals to N5, right? What I've done is that I've referenced it, but I've not absolutely referenced it. When I absolutely reference something, it means that, for example, if I copy this and I move it to the left, it's not giving me 50. If I copy it and I move it to the left, it's not giving me 50. Absolutely reference means that no matter where I drag that reference cell, anywhere, it will give me the original cell. No matter where I drag this 50, copy it, and I paste it here, I want the answer to always be 50. Right? So I want it to be absolutely referenced. There's a word I use. I realize that it's actually not common. I mean, where I am at the moment, right? In the country where I am, I realize that word is not common, but I use it a lot, right? What you have to do is that you have to lock the number. I mean, lock the row and lock the column. Let me explain. Lock the row and lock the column. When I say lock the row, means that you don't want the row to move and you don't want the column to move. So we're going to padlock the row and padlock the column. That's absolutely reference, right? You want to padlock the row, both the row and the column. We are padlocking both the row and the column, right? So if the way to padlock, I mean, for lack of a better word, right? Pardon my English. For lack of a better word, the way to lock a row or lock a column is to use the dollar sign. I don't know why you don't use the pound sign or the euro sign, yen sign, naira sign, Ghana cedi sign. They decided to use the dollar sign. So if you want to lock a row, you will use a dollar sign. If you want to lock a column, you will use a dollar sign, right? Now, for absolute reference, are we locking the row, the column, or both of them? Right? For absolute reference, are we locking the row, the column, or both of them? You can just respond on the chat and see. Yeah. So I said absolute reference, we lock both the row and the column. Now, using that same logic, for relative reference, are we locking the row, the column, both of them, or none of them? This is just English. For relative reference, are we locking the row, the column, or both of them? Just or none of them, right? If absolute, you are locking both the row and the column. For relative, are we locking the row or the column? Sorry, there's one more reference that I forgot to mention. Let me put it down here. Okay. So if absolute, we are locking both of them, right? So in absolute, we are locking both. In relative, we are locking none of them. None. In mixed, we are locking one of them. Right? So in absolute, we are locking both of them. In relative, we are locking none of them. In mixed, we are locking one of them, either the row or the column. Do you understand? Yay or nay? Guys, feedback. User PC said yes. Perfect. One more person, so I know that at least more than user PC. Thank you very much. Sorry, please. You notice that I asked for feedback a lot because I'm just saying to my computer, I'm not seeing any other thing, right? So it helps that somebody is at the back of the other place, and the back of my screen, also listening and doing stuff, right? So that is absolute, relative, and mixed, right? So, for example, this N5 that we have here, right? You can see N5. This N5, is it absolutely locked, relatively locked, or mixed locked? This N5 that I wrote here, N5, is this absolute reference, mixed reference, or relative reference? I just wrote N5. Is absolute, relative, or mixed? David Bello said relative. One more person. Is it relative, absolute, or mixed? I've given you the breakdown here. Right? I just need one more person. Just one more person. Thank you. Relative. It's relative because we did not lock both of them. Now, if I come here and I put a dollar sign in front of the N, is it absolute, relative, or mixed? I put a dollar sign in front of the N. Is it absolute, relative, or mixed? It's mixed, right? Now, if I put a dollar sign in front of the N and in front of the 5, is it absolute, relative, or mixed? Absolute, right? It's very simple, right? As simple as this thing gets, well, I want to show us how complex it can also get. Right? It's very simple, right? There are shortcuts to getting the putting the dollar sign, F1 and everything, but like at the moment, I just want us to learn it, right? The schematics and the finesse of it, right? We can learn that as we go ahead. But at the moment, what I want us to do is I want us to be able to know what absolute, relative, and mixed referencing is and now apply it. So now let's look at its application. Since we know, we have an idea, right? So for example, let me do something. Let's get the example. Let's get the ball rolling, right? So now, if I want to reference 50, 40, okay. So how many of us here know the multiplication timetable, right? It's a very popular timetable. We have 1, 2, 3 to 12, right? And we have 1, 2, 3 to 12. 1, 2, 3. Now, let me just do 1 to 3. Please follow me carefully. If I want to do I want to do a timetable, right? On just 1 to 3, 1 to 3. If I do 1 times 1, right? That is 1. Do you understand? It's correct, right? If I copy this formula across board, is this my multiplication timetable? Is it correct? Yes or no? Is it correct? No, right? Because 3 times 3, last time I checked, it's not 576.
No, it's not correct.
Perfect. 3 times 3 is not 576, right? And you can say, oh no, I can change it, right? So let me just come here and just change this one by 1 and just do equals to 3 times 3, right? And it's 9, right? But remember what I told you in Excel. Any formula you use within a range of cell must be the same thing, right? So you must use one formula across board. That means the formula you use in this cell, you must be able to copy it and paste it, and all the answers will be correct. You can't be changing that at every interval. That is a sign that something is wrong, right? You can't be changing every interval. One formula you use in the beginning must be applicable across board. Now, I want us to use this to learn the referencing, right? So now, if I want to reference, now, what do I want, right? On this side, sorry, instead of using this, let's use this, right? Do we all have this deck? Do we all have this deck? This PowerPoint, sorry, I'm using PowerPoint. This Excel I'm using, right? I gave us a link, onyekaoku.com/library to get it. Do we have it now? Yes or no? Because I would like to use this as the basis, right? So please, I'd like you to open, if you have it, please open it up, right? If you don't have it, I've dropped the link again on the in the chat room, right? So now let's use this to learn. Let's use the learning relative. We have 8 minutes, and this is what we use, right, to learn it, right? So now let me give you an example, a summary of this. This is the year profit, the profit of the year, right? These are the various products, right? These are the various products, and these are the percentages that each of the various products gets from this profit. So that means sparkling water gets 2% of the profit. Bailey's tea gets 13% of the profit. Do you understand? That is very simple. This is the product, and these are the profits, or the percentages of the profits they are meant to make. We also have something again. We have the months of the year. So these are the months of the year, January to December, right? And we say that 10% of all the profits will be in January. 5% of all the profits will be in February. That same way. So we have, what we want to do in essence is that we want to do the year profit multiplied by January multiplied by the product profit. That's what we want to do. So what to do, please follow me carefully. The year's profit multiplied by January figure multiplied by sparkling water, right? So this is the formula we want to use, right? I said to start the formula in Excel, use equals to. This is what we want to use, right? But now, if I use this formula the way it is, if I copy it, remember I said any formula we are using, we must be able to use it across. So if I copy this formula and I paste it on all the green parts, so I copy the formula and I paste the formula on all the, I copy it and you can just paste it, Control C, Control V, right? But I'm just extra, right? So I copy it and I want to paste it. Please follow me carefully. And I paste it here, right? You can see that it's obviously wrong. Like you can see, I'm having values everywhere, right? I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? My Excel is giving me rubbish, right? So I control Z. So we know that this is wrong. Now, how do we know it's wrong? No, the formula is correct. The issue is not with the formula. The issue is with the referencing. The formula is correct. This is what we want to do, right? Because at least we did one and he gave us the right answer. But when we copy this and we paste it here, we see that it's wrong. And now let me do an analysis why it's wrong. The first one is that we picked D10, right? When we move it to this, I mean, Excel is very progressive. So Excel lists things in a linear pattern. So yeah, it was D, right? D was D10. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but you can see this D10, right? Let's look at this first part of the formula, D10. When we move it to this place here, it changed to, you can see it changes to E10 as it moves places. Now, what do we want for this E10? This E10, that's this profit. Do we want the profit to change as we move month to month? Do we want the profit to change? Yes or no? Anybody? Do you want the profit? I mean, the profit, will the profit change from January to February? I mean, will the total profit change? Or this D10, right? This D10, will it change from month to month? Do we want it to change from month to month? Yes or no? Do we want it to change?
No, it should be a constant.
Right? No, it should not change because at the end of the day, the formula is yearly profit times January percentage or month percentage times product percentage. So let me just practice here. So it is year profit multiplied by month percentage, then multiplied by product percentage, right? So the yearly profit will not change. Now, if we don't want anything to change, what kind of referencing are we going to use for year profit? If we don't want it to change at all, remember referencing.
Absolutes.
Absolutes. Remember referencing. If we don't want it to change at all, if we want it to remain the same, we don't want it to move. We don't want the row. We don't want it to move rows or move column. We want it to remain in the same place. We use absolutes, right? So that means in this D10, what we do is that we put a dollar sign in front of the D and dollar sign in front of the 10, right? So a dollar sign in front of the D, a dollar sign in front of the 10. That means that the yearly profit will not change. Do you understand that? Yes or no? Yes or no? I don't know.
We get you.
Yes.
I understand.
Now, let's go to the next part of the formula, right? So we have started out the first part. The next part is D14. Now, D14 is this, right? Now, this D14, right? Do we want this? That D14 is the month percentage. Now, the month percentage, will the month percentage change every month? Will the monthly percentage change every month? Yes or no?
Yes, it will change.
Yes.
Likewise, the other
Right,
one.
because it's going left, right? Right. So that means that we cannot absolutely reference this because we want it to change. Do you understand? We want it to be moving left. Do you understand? But do we want it to change rows? Or now, do we want it to change rows? Sorry. Do we want it to change rows or change column or change both? Now we know we don't be the same place, right? But can it change columns? So can it move from 10 to 5? I mean, from D to E to F to G. Can it move like that? Yes or no?
It can change rows, but not
Yes.
column.
Perfect. So we want it to change rows, but do we want it to go from 14 to 15 to 16? Yes or no? No.
No.
So we want it to change only columns. It should not change rows. It should change only columns. Now, if we want it to change only columns, right, that means that the rows should be locked. That means we say column, you can have flexibility, but row, you cannot have flexibility. So if we want to lock the column, I mean the rows, right, that means it can change column. So column can be freestyle, right? But roll, you're not going anywhere. So we have D14. Which one is roll? Is roll D or is roll 14?
Row is 14. Row is 14.
Remember, I said rows are numbered. So we go to front of 14 and put a dollar sign. And I said there's another way to do it, but I'm just really sticking to dollar sign just for us to time has gone. Just for us to really simplify it. Now we have finished the second one. Now the third one, product percentage. That's what we have here, right? Do we want the product percentages to go? I mean, now this is That's the 2% we have here, right? Now, this 2%, do we want it to be absolutely on 2%? I mean, should it change or should it remain in the same place?
It should change.
It should change. Now, should it change rows or change column? What do we want it to
Change
do?
rows.
Right?
Change rows.
So we want to go to 13, it should go down, right? From 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But we don't want it to leave B, so that means it must be in B, but it can go B16, B17, B18, but it should not go to C. It should remain in B, right? So that means we want it to remain in B. That means we want to lock B, right? We want it to remain in B. That means we want to lock B, right? That is column. So we come here and say it must remain in B, no matter what, remain in B. And how do you lock it? I said use a dollar sign in front of B, right? And press enter. Now, if you now copy this formula, right, and you copy it everywhere, right, and press this, you can see that this is correct, right? So the formula we had was correct, but what was wrong was the referencing of the formula. The formula was correct, but what was wrong was the referencing of the formula. Please permit me, we'll take extra 3 minutes. I have a very quick assignment for everybody. And we want us to, with what we have learned on your own, right? I want you to do the multiplication times table. So I want you to do it in such a way that just like this, we have 1, 2, 3, we have 1 to 12, right? So you type 1 to 12, right? And you type 1 to 12 here, right? Yeah, 1 to 12, right? So I want you to on your own quickly do the multiplication times table, right? So basically, I want to do is this times this, right? But I want to do it in such a way that when you copy this number, the formula you put now, remember this formula is simple. It's 1 times 1. This formula is simple. The issue is the referencing. Which one I'm going to lock, which one I'm not going to lock, right? So based on what I've taught you, can we quickly do that now? Everybody, please. I'll give us just 2 minutes. Quickly do it, right? Quickly do it. If you are done, just let me know you are done, right? It's very simple. I just want us to know that we have actually learned something, right? We actually put it to practice. We have. I will just take by 6:35. We'll be done. And to be honest, please, anybody that is done, please just let me know you are done. My laptop is dead, but I'll do that as soon as I. Okay, no problem. Please let me know if you are done. So while people do that, right? This is the only done. Thank you, Fetchy. This is the only weekend. Scratch that. This is the only weekend where we have live classes. So I mean, Mondays to Thursdays, Mondays to Fridays, most often than not, will be live. I'm sorry, no, Mondays to Thursdays will always be live. That means I'll be live on Zoom, right? But Saturdays and Sundays will always be recorded, right? It will be on YouTube. And to be honest, I believe the recorded sessions will be more beneficial because I might not necessarily stick to 30 minutes. I will actually break it down, right? I can actually follow through. Right, so please, in case you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll see that. So we have 2 people done. If you are still struggling, just write struggling. If you are struggling with it, just write struggling. There's no, the point for us to learn together. If you are still struggling, just put, I'm not getting it, right? It's very simple. The formula is 1 times 1. The issue is where are we going to put the reference? Do you understand? 1 times 1, the issue is where we're going to put the reference. We have, yeah, done. Is anybody struggling? Please, if you don't speak, you've not attended to. That's how it goes, right? Okay, since nobody's struggling, I believe everybody understood. Is there any questions? Quickly, we have 2 more minutes. Is there any question, any clarification, anybody? Question, clarification. Nope, no question, no clarification.
Just a little question.
Okay, please go ahead.
I've been using referencing for a while in Excel,
yeah,
but I still have this challenging of always being able to quickly tell myself, oh, it's the role you are supposed to lock in here, or it's the column you are supposed to lock in here. So you do usually takes me time to even say, oh, to settle that, oh, this is what I'm locking or this is what I'm not locking. So do you have like any any immediate, say, how you do quickly figure it out that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to lock or this is what I'm not supposed to lock? Like when you are using Excel, do you have any shortcut that enables you to remember it quickly?
No, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if I recall yesterday. Most often than not, I've been using Excel for. I mean, if I was to put a year, I mean, years to it, will be more than 10 years, right? Actively, like, right, and up to now, but up to today, I still tell myself, row your boat, what is number. I tell myself, I mean, that's um um obviously the more you use it, the easier it will be, right? And sometimes you need to understand the full picture of what you want to achieve before you know which one to lock, right? Like for example, you need to understand that multiple timetable, we're doing this times this, right? So you have a full picture. Then when you know the full picture, you know. I mean, the way I do it, I do the first one, and literally the way I do this thing, I now open it and say, okay, this first one, am I locking the top or locking the bottom? And obviously, the more you use it, right, you not have to be doing you don't have to be very conscious of it, right? It just comes as it goes, right? Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I have one request, two requests I always have. Please, thank you so much. Somebody gave me very good feedback. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, anywhere, please just tag me, right? Just, oh, this is what I learned today. I mean, that's all I'm asking you to do. Do what I learned today. That is enough. Um, it's like a validation that okay, people are actually learning, right? Because I said there's no way I know you learned anything or you just joining your phone and just drop it somewhere and run away. Do you understand? The only way I know that you learned something is that number one, you give me feedback. Number two, you also subscribe, right? So please subscribe. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be live, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will not be live on Zoom, but will be um pre-recorded. So Friday, that's next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be pre-recorded, right? But Monday to Thursday will be live classes. So tomorrow we're talking about inputting data into Excel. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to tell people what you learned, tag me, and also subscribe. God bless you. Have a beautiful Sunday.